So I mean, maybe one day in the future, meet the T7 coming up the road here tonight with an 18 tonner on the back. We try and farm it as best we can, and I tell you what, without the livestock. Hello there, dear. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for a bit of nighttime spreading, and if you could help me out and give this video a thumbs up, it will be much appreciated. Back in the T7. I've been spreading all afternoon, and I'm gradually making my way through the rest of this field, planning on getting this field done tonight, and then I'm going to have a little bit of muck left over, which I want to use on the field next door, on Pitfield, so that'll work out quite nicely. Shut that door, pull up near the Manitou, which I left over here. Do you know what, I've got to say, this has probably been one of the best years for muck spreading in terms of the weather. It's probably one of the driest years I've been muck spreading in a long time, and I mean, you can just tell by, you know, the colour of the muck spreader. She's still clean, she's tidy, because the ground is still is dry on this farm. And you know what that also means as well is that I'm not cutting the ground up, I'm not causing too much damage on the farm, which is really good, because, you know, ultimately I don't want to be cutting up the ground, making a mess, and then having to try and, you know, get it tidied up with a cultivator or something later on. If I can keep the ground, you know, nice and tidy and clean, thanks to the good weather, thanks to this, you know, dry spell we've had this weekend, and also the temperature, you know, it's become a lot warmer this weekend. We're now sitting at 12 Celsius tonight, it says on my phone, and you know, that's unbelievable. 12 Celsius in February in in the evening, it's ideal. So, you know, weather-wise, I can't really complain too much. And you know, last year, little bit wet, little bit damp. I was cutting up the ground quite a bit on the other field, Stackyard field, and that was, you know, making a real mess. But yeah, this is absolutely ideal. If every year could be like this, I would be, you know, so happy. And you know, what with 2020 being not the best year, you know, it's a good way to start 2021 really, having a nice, you know, muck spreading weather conditions. Absolutely ideal, and actually it's made my week having this good weather. And this spreader, I tell you, it is a solid bit of kit. The men at Agri Hire really know what they're doing when it comes to building a good muck spreader. Solid, heavy built, ergonomically, very well designed. They've really thought things out, like the ladder on the side, which you can unhook. I mean, if you're ever going to look at buying a spreader, I'd certainly give Agri Hire a good look. And you know, I think if I ever bought a muck spreader, I'd definitely have a really good look at a used X-Hire AH spreader, because you can get really good deals on them. And there's a lot of you guys say in the comments, you know, the T7, you know, great tractor. You know, it's actually, you know, if you compared that to the 6155R, you could probably sell that 6155R tomorrow, and with the money you could get away with buying that T7, I reckon. That's the price difference between John Deere and New Holland. So I mean, maybe one day in the future, you know, I'll be able to buy my own muck spreader and, you know, my own tractor, my own T7, who knows. But of course, with all of these things, you have to be able to warrant them. You have to have the work in order to carry out the purchases and, you know, to buy this equipment. So, you know, it's an interesting one. And if there's any farmers out there who have got 50 tonne, 100 tonne, 200 tonne of muck, or maybe 500 tonne, 1,000 tonne even, you need spreading every year, send me an email to ollysfarmbusiness@gmail.com, and I'll be able to organise getting your muck spreader on your farm for a reasonable price, and I will do a very good job of spreading the muck. That's Olly's Farm Contracts, and the email is ollysfarmbusiness@gmail.com. I'm going to leave the Manitou here because I want to come back in a bit and we'll pick this up. I'm hoping to take the spreader back tonight to the yard. And we've made a good dent in that pile today. So, New Holland, the T7. The T7 knows when you're back in the seat and it just revs up a bit. It's clever, that. A little bit of water. And into the night. Lower down. Mid-range. We're away. Yeah, fully loaded. She pulls it well. Uphill, I am using a lot of revs though, and she can be flat out up a hill. But I think most tractors would be with a 20-tonne spreader. I think the only tractor which could pull this up a hill at about 10k would be like a 300, 400 horsepower Fendt 939 or a 1050 or something like that. I mean, it does take some serious pulling, this fully loaded, and also giving power to the spreader as well. It really sucks the power, this spreader. Now, just coming down here, I'm just trying to keep an eye out for where I last came. This is the trouble with spreading at night, sometimes you can lose track of where you've been, so you've got to be careful. And if we just have a look here, that's where I've been. That's where I made my last start, my last line down here. So if I turn down here, just go onto this tram line, save a bit of compaction. There we go. Yeah, that should work quite nicely. Now, PTO on, increase up to 1000 RPM, and flat forwards. Come on, girl. See, it does take quite a bit of pulling. She's flat out now, giving it all she's got, and she's up to 7.5k. That's not bad. That's not bad. She's doing well. Yeah, she's got some guts, this T7, that's for sure. And so we're gradually making our way across this field. Now I've done over half. I was hoping to get it finished tonight, this field, but I think I have to finish it tomorrow. That'll be a Sunday morning job. I'll make myself a nice Sunday fry up tomorrow, and then I'll come out and do some more spreading, get it finished. Something else as well I quite like is I can ease up with the joystick, put my PGO on, do what I've got to do, and then when I'm ready, just push the joystick forward, a bit like on a Fendt Vario, just very nice, and I'm back up to 7.5k. It's quite comfortable in your hand. You know, you've got a nice rubber grip on there. And yeah, it's been well thought out, nicely thought out. If you've got a front loader, you can program it to this joystick on here, which is quite nice, a bit like the John Deere, with the John Deere's one, but it's slightly smaller, more of a round sphere, this one. And then if I go onto the joystick, I can select the hair to go up to my mid-range, which is currently set at 22k, and then if I push the joystick forwards, we will gradually come up to 22k, which is quite nice. And on this tram line, on the way back to the yard tonight, that's quite nice. That's quite a nice feature. Lovely. And keeping on the tram lines is really important because it reduces the compaction, because this is where the sprayers have been driving all year, so we can bust these tram lines up with a subsoiler. It's not too bad, and if we keep all the compaction on the tram lines, it's a good thing. I'm going to just leave the Manitou there. I'll come back and grab that in a sec, and we'll head out and drop this back at the yard tonight because I don't want to leave it in the field. There she is, sports fans. I managed to drive her on the field. The up pickup truck, yeah. This is the field next door where we brought the bales in from. I don't know if any of you guys recognise that. That's where the sheep are at the moment and the straw is. And we'll get out of here with this, hopefully. I'll turn my lights off and leave my front ones on as we're going onto the road. I don't want to go too quick either because I don't want to spin off the muck on the road. Want to try and go fairly steady to keep the muck obviously on the spreader and on the tyres. And we'll just whack our lights on, let everyone know we're coming down the road. Yeah, you wouldn't want to meet the T7 coming up the road here tonight with an 18 tonner on the back. And that's where we're going to go tomorrow to get that muck spread with those loads I dumped off in that field with the 6155R. We'll get those spread tomorrow. And back in the yard. Oh, we get in there, right? Yep. Strange not seeing the up there actually. Lovely. Park her up here tonight by the Western, I think. Lovely job. And I've just come to pick up the Manitou. We'll drop that back at the yard as well, so that Dad can feed the cows in the morning, get them fed, and then get the land spread. I'll be back for you up, I'm not going to leave you there all night. Don't want to cut the ground up too much so I won't get the up out of here. Oh, hello dear. Hello there dear. I haven't seen you today. She's like, I'm not happy with you, Olly. You've been cheating on me. But before I can go and get the up, someone's going to have their dinner, haven't you? You're going to have your dinner. Well, what a productive day that's been. We've almost finished the muck spreading on this field. Set the New Holland up with the spreader. It's working really well now. And Gabe just gave Clover our dinner. And I'll tell you what, I was surprised the little Manitou today. Really performed well, you know, for a little 6 metre, 3 tonne machine. It did a good job. So yeah, I'm going to go back to mine tonight. I'm going to need a good bath because I stink of muck. And yeah, as I said, it's been a good year so far. It's been, you know, weather-wise, it's been pretty dry. And you know, looking at the spreader, it's pretty clean. It's actually not that bad. So fingers crossed it stays clean tomorrow when I finish off the spreading. I know I say the dry weather because a lot of you guys out there on farms in the West Country and up north have had a lot of rain, but on this little light sandy farm here, I was speaking to a dairy farmer earlier, a neighbour of ours, and on these sandy farms here in South Norfolk, you know, you can have a week's worth of rain and a couple of days will go by, and all of the fields will dry up, you know, pretty quick. Part of the reason being is that this farm is on a hill, so the rain washes down through the sand to the bottom of the hill, and then also we get the Siberian wind here drying the water and the rain out. So I mean, it's a win-win really. I mean, it's ideal in the winter because it's although it can be wet, it gets dry very quickly. Although in the summer this farm does suffer quite a lot from drought, so you know, it's not ideal, the arable land here, for growing you know, like a 1 year lay of Italian ryegrass. You'll only get one cut off it, unfortunately, unless you irrigated it, which of course would be quite expensive. Then you'd get 2 or 3 cuts, but yeah, it's not ideal for growing grass really. It's not a grass farm, it's a root farm really. It's good for sugar beet, carrots, and you know, light cereals like barley. So yeah, it's a productive little farm actually, and it's very hungry. The land here, it's very hungry for organic matter. It's hungry for muck. We try and farm it as best we can, and I tell you what, without the livestock, this farm wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be as productive, you know, as it is. We wouldn't get the yields if it wasn't, you know, working with the livestock, and vice versa. You know, we couldn't really have the livestock if we didn't have the arable, because we put all of the livestock down at the marshes in the summer. We wouldn't have anywhere to bring them back to, and also we wouldn't be able to grow anything to feed them in the winter. So you know, it works pretty well being able to grow fodder beet on this farm to feed them in the winter. And I'll join you guys tomorrow morning after my fry up, my Sunday morning breakfast, and we'll finish off the muck spreading. And yeah, this is, you know, one of the reasons why I'm ideally going for a pickup truck or Hilux, is that, you know, the up's okay, and she's doing a good job going across the field now. But ideally, because of, you know, where I'm heading to now and what I'm getting involved with in farming, I really do need a good off-road vehicle.